Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your time today, and it's my pleasure to talk to you about SAP's data platform as a solution that can bring about an intelligent enterprise for the federal agencies. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few areas: the importance of data, how it drives technological advances, and how it is at the heart of technological advances, and how it's improving our ability to perform better services and meet our program objectives far better. Finally, I'll spend a couple of minutes maybe showing you one or two panels on some of our customers and how we've enabled this capability using our SAP HANA data platform. So real quick as a background, we have been going through these technological changes within organizations. They've also been experienced at our federal agencies through the years. We start with industrial automation. A simple example would be mail sorting. That was treated as some level of automation. And today, here we are as an intelligent enterprise where various portions of the organization, they are automated, and the data is able to provide the necessary intelligence to improve the performance of various services that we provide to our citizens. So as you can see, the notion of repetitive tasks were very significantly high as we started this analysis. As we move towards the contemporary times, the number of repetitive tasks have come down significantly. At the heart of repetitive tasks is this notion of understanding data. Once you have data that is available to you, how many more patterns can you have in the kind of work that you can do becomes easy to quantify. And as a result, many of the activities that we perform become candidates to be considered as repetitive tasks. So this progression we are seeing, and because of a data-driven culture, organizations are able to automate many of these repetitive tasks and allow their employees to move on to do higher value, perform higher value tasks that really bring about mission success in the organizations. So if you look at automation driven by technology and data, what delivers that data is a highly reliable and trusted data platform. So this data platform will deliver these capabilities. First of all, the notion of visibility. I mean, we all know that within our organizations, within the federal space especially, there is no lack of data. We have tremendous amount of data, we generate a lot of data, and we are stewards of that information that we possess. The question is, how do we intelligently, in an automated fashion, figure out unseen patterns that exist in this data so we can automate those unseen patterns and improve our performance levels as an organization. The second area that these data-driven intelligent technologies enable for us is to provide focus. If we are able to identify an unforeseen pattern or a new pattern emerging within our workplace, we can assign certain employees and scarce resources to address those areas. So thereby, in a very agile fashion, we can manage our workforces. And finally, we can foresee what our citizens' needs are for the future. A new legislation might be implemented for which new services have to be provided. So as an organization, we are in a position to look at all this data, analyze it, and structure programs and service delivery so that we are much more agile and responsive to our citizens. Ultimately, all of this drives citizen satisfaction and meeting our mission in a more effective fashion. So this is not something that our own government has not foreseen. If you look at our President's management agenda, specifically on the Data Act that was passed this year in a very bipartisan manner, you'll see that data-driven decision-making has been given significant importance. If you think through that, this item number A in many ways represents a functioning, trusted government versus a government in maybe other parts of the world that is not trusted. Because a data-driven decision will be consistent. So citizens can expect consistent service. It opens up accountability and transparency of the organization as well. A data-driven decision can be contested, but when looked and analyzed in the context of the data that drove that decision, we're able to defend our decisions and instill confidence in our constituents. Similar situation with transparency. So one of the requirements of the Data Act is that all non-sensitive data needs to be published in a form that can be consumed by machine-readable sources and to be leveraged fully. Corresponding metadata and data models have to be provided as well. That's written into the Data Act. So it opens up our government for unprecedented transparency. Then you have our own workforce that is serving the citizens. How are they going to transform themselves to react in a fashion that's data-driven? So that's another important portion of the agenda. That's completely backed by the federal data strategy as well. The strategy is taking shape. Much of it is already published, and several organizations are working towards to make that a reality. It's one thing to have an aspiration or even a mandate. It's another thing to support it with the appropriate resources. So let's look at the notion of a chief data officer that's been brought into this entire context. And these folks are leading our organizations and describing to all the end users and the customers how they can gain more efficiencies by leveraging this data and governing it in a proper way. Despite all of this, a big challenge remains. See, the fact is 73% of IT managers, they have struggled harnessing the data and even generating it. So to address this specific pain point, we've been working with our customers both on the commercial side and in the federal area for several years now, for over 40 years. We understand some of the pains, and we have designed what is considered to be the state-of-the-art data platform in support of our mission objectives. So this is the SAP HANA data-driven platform. One of the key characteristics of this platform is this. It reduces complexity. How does it reduce complexity? As we work through our day-to-day activities in support of our programs, we collect a lot of data. These are operational sort of data elements that we connect and we create in support of the activities that we perform. Then there is the notion of analyzing all of this information to make our service delivery more effective. How could we be in a scenario where we are thinking in a separate area and acting in a separate area? Our analysis should drive our actions. Our actions should enrich our analysis. How could it be that we have designed systems that separate the two out? SAP HANA, one of the greatest things that has brought to our customers is its ability to transact and analyze on the same set of data, thereby increasing your effectiveness on how you perform your jobs and how we deliver services to our citizens. The other important area is trusted data. The data that we use has to be well-governed. It has to be of high quality if we are to drive decisions based upon the data. There's no second guessing on that. Your data has to be of a given quality. Do we consider managing the quality as something separate from generating that data? Absolutely not. These are one fully well-integrated capabilities, that is generation of that data, its use and its dissemination and its governance. So this platform provides for governing that data even as it is created and used within the organization for various purposes. So these two I would really call out, and these have been in my own experiences of where I've supported my customers. They have significantly enhanced their ability to meet their mission. Now I'll get into the technical abilities of this platform. Just as we could not separate analysis from acting, quality from delivering good services, data quality from delivering good services, here's a unified platform that treats data as one strategic asset. No more silos. You don't put this data in 10 different places for 10 different usage scenarios. How could we achieve that, right, in a very economical scale? The database services lays the foundation of this data-driven platform. I mean, up to the very end, you see a columnar OLTP, online transactional processing, and online analytical processing capability that appear in one platform that allows you to perform the transactions. Maybe it is issuing a purchase order. Maybe it is issuing stock from inventory. Maybe it's delivering a given service to your citizen and comparing it to the historical analysis of how well we have performed and how that can drive better service. If you look at adhering to open standards, the database services cannot be very proprietary in nature, because that would increase the cost and an inability to integrate the system with the rest of the systems in the organization. So these are highly compliant with the open standards that are prevalent today. Therefore, this technology can be well integrated with the rest of the organization. The rest of the services that deliver up on top, application services, these are where the business applications that our end users and our citizens use, they would be built using these capabilities. Those are readily available, and they are part and parcel of the data platform that we deliver to our customers. The processing services are another important area to consider. So when we do different kinds of analysis in the organization, we tend to say, okay, I have a data set that I'm using for predicting the future. And therefore, I'm going to make a copy of that information, keep it somewhere, and then I'm going to perform that analysis and come back and incorporate the findings into my system. This approach generally tends to introduce blind spots in decision-making. That is, when you make a copy of the data, the events in the organization move forward, but you're still catching up with the analysis. So it's very important that such processing services are reliant on this one common database services that provide that information. The integration services are important too. The kinds of information that we are dealing with is rapidly changing. New sources of information are coming at us. With the arrival of the commercialization of the Internet of Things, we are in a position to take sensor data and use it effectively in our service delivery models. So this SAP HANA data platform provides all the necessary capabilities to manage effective outcomes and to predict the future requirements and to also position ourselves for new services and requirements that might come about in the organization. Now, is this just a vision, or have we realized this vision? I just wanted to put this up here so you can see that it is a fully realized vision. The current move for efficiencies and the gains in efficiencies for our customers by leveraging the cloud is well supported by this model. And where the information is sensitive, where we want to have both an on-prem and a cloud model, a hybrid model is fully supported as well. As we go up the stack, you can see we get closer and closer to how we do our work and what applications we use to support our citizens. So here's an example. Personally, I take great pride in having been associated with this solution. This addresses two areas in the national defense space. The first one is, here's an example of where analytics are actionable and those are presented back to our end customers. Here we're looking at a common operating picture which shows the 4 important readiness factors we track for our services: personnel, material, equipment, and training. These 4 are the most important support services that enable the warfighter to be very effective and very, very lethal in what they do. So most of the commanders track this information. They look for this specific KPI, and most of conversations that I have around technology are driven by this fundamental business question. What are you doing to make my soldier more lethal? How are you increasing his safety? So it's very well laid out in terms of the 4 factors that drive this readiness. And once we get into the specific details, for example, what drives the readiness from a material perspective, in this case, this is a large ship. The life preserver vest the indicator is that we are off by a stock of minus 300. Right here, you have the ability to perform an action. If you had to drill down in that specific line item, you could place a purchase order from this system where transaction and analysis come together to improve mission readiness. Let's take another more common example. We are striving to gain efficiencies in procurement. Do we have a good understanding and insight into how we are spending our money? And do we have the ability to go ahead and perform this analysis in a way where it is driven by self-service? Here's an example where we could specifically say, who bought it? What did they buy? Did they buy it from a catalog? Did they not buy it from a catalog? How far are we in deviation from the standard prices for these particular items? So as an example, here we are, analysis and action all together, improving the efficiency of this organization. And all of this is powered by SAP HANA. Last but not the least, who are some of our key customers in the federal space leveraging these solutions? Here are some really key examples. So within the defense space, within our federal civilian and international government space, we have very significant presence, and we are very proud to have these marquee customers and to support them in their mission. So in conclusion, SAP HANA is a data-driven platform that you can fully leverage for improving your mission effectiveness and for delivering better service. Thank you for your time today.